Hey, welcome back to Precision Gun Reviews. This is Ed, and today we're taking a look at another unique Walther pistol. This is a double stack polymer striker fired pistol that operates in a double action, single action mode with a special anti-stress mode. It's the Walther P99c AS, AS meaning anti-stress. And before we jump into the trigger, let's give you the main specs. We're looking at a length of 6.6 inches, a height of 4.3 inches, a width of 1.3 inches. It's a little chubby, it's a double stack. And it's got a 3.5 inch barrel in there. And it weighs only 21.5 ounces with an empty magazine. And that's a 10 round magazine plus one. It comes with two of these, one with a flush base plate and one with an extended pinky rest, which you can see right there. The slide is stainless steel with a tenifer coating. It's got removable back straps. It comes with a couple of these that you can replace for the best fit. It'll give you about a 2-finger grip on the gun or a 3-finger grip with that extended base plate, and this mates very well with the rest of the grip. You have these finger grooves in the front, some mild grip enhancing texturing on the front and back. I wouldn't quite call it stippling, but just molded into the polymer you have some grip texture. It has a European style mag release, a paddle release on both ends of the trigger guard, and it's really extended so you can reach out there with either side. I think it works very well. I like that. Although I am used to the standard, we'll call it American style magazine release, I do think this works really well. And in practice, while shooting it, I got very used to it very quickly, and it became second nature. It was really, really natural to operate this paddle release. I do like that. If that's something that turns you off, I wouldn't let that deter you right off the bat without giving it a chance. It's a matter of training, and it's a matter of very minimal training because it just happens very quickly. The gun does not have any manual safety. It doesn't have any of the different trigger safeties. It does have this slide release here, which you can take a look at. Snaps that slide home. Nothing on the other side. This is ambidextrous, obviously. It has an accessory rail with one notch in the front, and this being a compact, most likely a carry gun, it's nice to have the rail, but not necessary, and I think the one notch is perfectly fine. Another control this has is a decocker up here on the top. Now, we just cocked the weapon, and if you do that, it decocks it. Now, you'll notice I spoke about the trigger having a bunch of different modes here, 3 different modes of fire. So that's in double action. You have the trigger way out here and you pull it back, and it's pretty heavy. It's about 9 pounds and it goes way back, and that'll produce some flyers if you're me. Definitely a long and rough trigger pull. I'm not a fan of the double action trigger, but you see it does have double strike capability. And though this is a striker-fired weapon, it functions a lot like the double single-action hammer-fired weapons that people have grown accustomed to and some people prefer. Now, if we rack this, we see that that trigger has stayed where it is, but the ever so slight pressure on this moves it back to this position, which is the single-action trigger position. So if we want to decock that from there, that trigger goes back to double action, back to that heavy 9-pound pull. In this anti-stress mode, this is a 4.5-pound trigger pull, where that beginning part is essentially just all empty take-up. And that gives the user time to feel the trigger before moving into that very light 4.5-pound single action trigger pull, which is excellent. This is moving it back from the anti-stress mode into the single action position, which we can let go and see that stay there. And then you have some of this play here, but the trigger is so light, it doesn't actually feel like there's much going on. it feels great in practice, and it's very, very light. Comes to this break, it snaps back right here all the way at the back of the trigger guard, and then the reset is right there. The reset is incredibly short, so that's the single action resting position, but the reset is right there. So the pull after resetting is essentially about a tenth of an inch. So that is incredible. But what's more incredible to me than the reset, I'm not obsessed with resets. I just like to show them because a lot of people are really interested in that. This single action pull is fantastic, and the gun is very accurate. It lets you be your most accurate self when you're shooting this gun, and it does have this decocker, so you're done shooting and you can decock and carry it in double action. But it seems to me that the intention here was to give shooters an option where they still have a light trigger, but the trigger has a long travel before it engages, thereby making it a little bit safer to carry this gun with a 4.5 pound trigger pull, but no trigger safety. I don't know if that is exactly Walther's intention. I cannot speak for them, so don't take that as gospel, but I would not feel uncomfortable carrying this in its anti-stress mode, which is essentially a single action mode, because of all of this play here. You know when you're on this trigger, and even when you move from double action into single action, the gun is audible. It clicks into that single action position. So very interesting and completely unique trigger design, and it's fantastic. The gun also has this cocked striker indicator, so you can see and feel. It's a really bright red and very obvious striker indicator. You can see when the striker is cocked. And there it goes. And you'll see on the double action, it also comes out just like that. So really excellent trigger. I really do like that. And this whole mechanism gives shooters who don't like to pull the trigger when disassembling a different option. You can decock, and takedown is a breeze. Pull this back very slightly, and tabs down, and the gun's apart. There's the internals, very simple. There's some steel going on here. It's got this chassis, all steel in here, that the slide rides on. All the fit and finish is top notch, just like you expect from Walther firearms. Everything's in its place. Very, very nice looking firearm. If we look into the slide here, we've got this dual captive recoil spring. It is a polymer guide rod. And we have here striker channel. We've got the striker block safety and our barrel. Stainless steel barrel, traditionally rifled, polished feed ramp, nice and robust. And the barrel itself is 3.5 inches long. So this is a gun that sort of sits in a concealed carry position at a size that is right between like your Glock 26 and your Glock 19. Very easy to take down, very easy to put back together, as you can see there. And it is essentially the exact same size as the Smith & Wesson M&P Compact. This being 6.6 inches, that being 6.7. They're both 4.3 inches tall. This one's a little bit chunkier, a little bit fatter, by about a tenth of an inch. And this one is about 3 ounces lighter than the Smith & Wesson M&P Compact. And it gives you that different trigger system, obviously. And that's also about the same size as the FNS Compact. So this is a good size. It's not terribly small. With this grip, you can get that third finger on there. It's very ergonomic. And in practice, it shoots very well. I really enjoyed shooting this gun. It's just a pleasure to take out to the range. You know, even though it's a compact size, it's got 3-dot sights. These are polymer. The rear is adjustable for windage, and the front is replaceable, like Walther likes to do. They give you a few different heights of front sight options, so you can adjust that for elevation by replacing your sight. And this gun is incredibly accurate. I was shooting like 2-inch groups in anti-stress mode from about 10 yards, just standing, not super slow fire, just shooting. Really nice. In double action mode, I had some flyers. Squeezing a heavy double action trigger like that will always pull you a little off target. So that's always been an argument against double action, single action firearms, is having 2 different trigger pulls to contend with, specifically the first and arguably the most important shot being a heavy double action. That pulling the gun off target, making your first follow-up shot a little bit harder to hit, and having that transition from double to single. I want to say it's more difficult to manage. It's manageable. You can train for that, of course, but I think it's objectively true that 2 different trigger pulls is harder to train for than a single trigger pull. So this gun wants to give all those options and allow a carrier to carry it in this condition, this anti-stress mode, where you have the buffer of all this empty travel, but the pull is still sweet. So I really like this P99c anti-stress. A double stack polymer striker fired gun with 3 firing modes: double action, single action, and anti-stress mode. Really unique, very interesting, a sweet shooter, and in terms of its spec sheet, a really viable contender for your concealed carry choice. It is only 10 rounds versus something like the 12-round M&P, but 10 rounds is the same as your Glock 26 also, and 10 rounds is more than any single stack. Really a good, fine weapon. So there it is. We like it. It's got an MSRP of about $629, and you can find it for a bit over $500. Additional magazines, they'll run you about $35-40. So this is Ed from Precision Gun Reviews. Thanks for watching. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to get all our stuff as it comes out. Until next time, stay safe.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out and thanks to the gun store of Conway, South Carolina. They help us transfer in all of our firearms for review. And you should check out the gun store at scgunstore.com. They are a full-service firearms, guns, and gear shop with an indoor range. They stock a wide selection of handguns, shotguns, suppressors, NFA items, tactical rifles, hunting rifles, and gear. They are fully stocked with all calibers of ammunition. They have gun safes, holsters, magazines. They do gunsmithing on site if you happen to be in the Conway, South Carolina area. Additionally, they hold training courses for those in the area. And they also offer a fully automatic experience in their gun range with an AR-15 or a Thompson 45 Tommy gun. They've got knives, they've got used firearms, parts, accessories, really just about anything you could think of related to firearms, home, and personal defense. I recommend you take a trip over to scgunstore.com, and no matter where you are, go to shop.scgunstore.com, where you can shop their inventory online and have it delivered right to your local FFL. That's the gun store of Conway, South Carolina. Thanks for making all the reviews that you see here on PGR possible.